Sports Comic News, episode 112. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside Mike.
Hey, episode 112. Or, as I like to say, let's get this shit done quick so I can get back to Sekiro. So, what a great weekend, huh? Us came out, and Shazam has a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yep. And
Sekiro came out, which is the next installment from the From Software Dark Souls Born series, guys. And I've played it for a few hours, and wow, it's amazing. That's all I can say.
It's a great game for people like Mike who hate having fun while playing video games.
Yeah, I was actually when you texted me that we were doing a later show, I just got home and installed it, and I was like, I mean, I guess I could just go play for like 4 hours. And that's what I did. I spent most of those 4 hours dying, though, is usually how those games go.
So I've currently just been playing like old as shit games. Mm-hmm. And I discovered that on my Nintendo Switch, not only do I have the online that gives me all the NES games, but there's a Sega collection. And yes, I was a Sega kid. There's an SNK collection. There's a Namco collection, and rumored right now is 3 Konami collections, including an arcade and a Castlevania collection. So I'm going to be playing a lot of old as shit games for a while.
What platform, though?
Well, you can get all these on pretty much everything, but I played on the much superior master race that is Nintendo Switch.
I actually was reading up on this, that Switch is doing, I mean, we're talking about video games right now, but I don't think anyone minds that Switch is doing really well with like the indie and the it's fun because you can play a lot of those indie like platforming games on the go, but then they're doing a really good thing bringing back all these classic games, but still like they're not bringing any classic Nintendo games back though, if I'm right, correct?
They're just not doing it in the way people really want them to.
Yeah.
And so like with your PlayStation or Xbox, you pay for the online. Well, for Switch, you're paying $20 to play games online. But what comes with that is essentially a Netflix for Nintendo. And for me, it's cool. Like, there's a ton of games on it. Like, pretty much if there's like a brand name classic Nintendo game, it's on there at this point. And then there's some that are just like ones I never played because whatever reason, and I'm getting back into. So I enjoy it for what it is, but it has a long way to go because people want the Wii, what they call it, the eShop or whatever it was, back, and it's not what they want essentially.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about video games for a while longer, but we won't waste everyone's time. We do not have an interview today. I think it's as spring starts to approach us. Well, actually, first day of spring is already this week, right? People are lining up stuff for cons and all that, so it's kind of tough to schedule with people right now. So we're working out all those kinks.
Yeah, I'm working with a few people. I got I got somebody actually lined up, but they're in a few weeks till they want to meet with us. But soon I'll have more people. I promise everybody.
Yeah. Other than that, not a whole lot going. I saw Us this weekend. I said it came out. Shazam, man. I'm just so excited to see those Shazam reviews coming out. Like, who would have thought? I mean, these reviews are saying like, oh yeah, best DC movie so far, and one of the best superhero movies of the well, I guess the year already. I don't know. Well, what's come out this year? Just Captain Marvel, I guess.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so it's not hard to beat. I want to say this though. Let it be known who the superior Captain Marvel is. Obviously,
it's so. Yeah, we can jump right into movie stuff. So, I actually have seen. Mike, are you sitting?
Yeah,
I saw 3 movies this week.
Holy shit! And you're working overtime?
Yeah. See,
how'd you do that?
I'm just that special,
I guess.
So I saw Captain Marvel finally. I enjoyed it. It's a good mid-tier Marvel movie. I had one gripe with it, and it was a music choice during the final fight scene. Other than that, I enjoyed it for what it was. Not my favorite, but it has the big issue of it's an origin movie, and anybody who's been listening to this for 111 episodes knows that I don't like origin movies to begin with. So, but enjoyable. I saw Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah,
I really enjoyed that as well. That one a little bit more than Captain Marvel.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It was awesome.
I'm a big Miles fan. I really liked the supporting characters to that, so I was happy with that. And as a little side story, I was in the comic shop this week, and a little kid came in. Little kid, probably like 8 or 9 years old, and African American kid, and he was buying all the Miles Morales stuff he could. And he walked up to me and the shop owner and started asking about Miles. And he just saw the movie. And
nice.
it put a giant smile on my face, because not only because he's an African American kid, but just because he's a kid who wants to read comics now because of that movie.
Yeah, but now he can he feels like, I don't know, he sees himself as Miles. That's awesome. That's that's what they're doing this stuff for, man. That's so cool.
He was asking if we had if our shop owner had the first appearance, and I was just I was sitting there, I was like, man, if I had it with me, I'd probably just give it to you right now because I have that comic.
Is it worth any money? It's gotta be. I feel like it has to be now.
I don't know. I know I have it though. I was super excited when they announced this character and jumped right into it. And then the third movie I watched was Waiting for the Punchline, which is a documentary about a podcaster I listen to called Nick Scarpino. So anyone listens to kind of funny stuff, that's him. And he made it his New Year's resolution a few years back to become a stand-up comedian, but he's doing it like the old-fashioned way, actually going to these different clubs and learning through that way instead of just like using his fame to do it. And it's really cool. It's all about the San Francisco comedy scene as it is right now and how he went through it and a few other people. If you're a fan of comedy and the art of comedy, I think it's a great documentary. Outside of that, it probably won't appeal to people outside of that area. But I enjoyed that. So those are the movies I watched this week.
Wow. Yeah, so I saw Us over Shazam because I think I'm just going to wait for the regular opening weekend. Just talking about Shazam really quick. I mean, there's some spoiler-free reviews out there, and I just have to say, like, when we talked about, they want to do an early screening, we're like, that's always a good sign. And if it doesn't come out like with a 90 plus, I think they did the same thing with Wonder Woman, right? Didn't they do an early screening? I'm pretty sure.
They've been doing more and more of these.
Yeah, so you can almost gauge when the movie's going to be good now because it's like, okay, if they're going to do early release, then it's probably a good sign. I'm excited for Zachary Levi. I don't think anyone knows how to pronounce his last name, but he seems like such a good dude in all these interviews. He looks like he's having so much fun doing it. I came back from seeing Us last night, the new installment of Jordan Peele horror, written, directed, produced by him. I'm gonna warn everybody, if you're going into this movie expecting like Get Out again, I'll just say it's not as clear cut as Get Out. And the fact, like, Get Out had a clear story, had a clear moral behind it, and you could see, this is what he's going for. Whereas, Us, I'm not going to spoil anything. I might do a separate video of my own review on the YouTube page, because I have some funny thoughts about it. But it was good. I as far as horror movies go, yeah, it was suspenseful, really suspenseful, like edge of your seat the whole time. I wouldn't necessarily say it was like freaking me out, like scary. There wasn't a whole lot of jump scares, but I think the idea was just really creepy and weird. But as a movie alone, it was great. I think it was awesome. So more of that, less everything else, because it's definitely an original idea, and it's definitely sparking a lot of conversations coming out of the movie. You have to put a little more thought into it than Get Out, that's for sure.
Yeah, from what I heard, the review I listened to, it was Get Out was very transcendent, and like that was a movie that everybody needed to see.
Right.
And this one people are saying is really good, but it's not to that tier. And
Yeah,
you know that's what people expected going into this, and they didn't get it, so that's why people are kind of down on it.
And I think so. Without spoiling anything, it's like 50-50 for me. It's like this is either like a stoner dream that he had to write a movie about this topic, or it's like, okay, he actually took like a philosophical thought experiment that's been talked about in almost every philosophy class and kind of like extended upon it. And without revealing too much, that's as far as I'll go. It's like it's either a really smart movie or it's a hey, we wanted to have fun taking on this this thought that's, I mean, it's been within the US for a long time now, this conspiracy theory, I guess. And I don't know. Either way, I enjoyed it. Whether it was a stoner, you know, playing off a crazy idea, or if he was trying to do something more artistic. I just to have that discussion alone, I think you made a good movie.
Cool.
Anyways, have not watched The Flash. Have you watched The Walking Dead?
I did. Last episode was a flashback. So it was basically explaining why Michonne is having issues accepting new people into the community and what kind of led to that moment. It was a decent episode. You got to see pregnant Michonne killing things. There was a really heart-wrenching moment where this woman who was brought into the community basically kidnapped a bunch of the children, including Rick's daughter.
Wow.
And that's why Michonne had to go out with Daryl and find them. There's like an explanation to why they have this X scar on their back that comes out of that. And Michonne just kind of trying to save her daughter at this point. It was a good episode. It was definitely an episode that's leading to something in next week's episode. So we'll find out where that goes. But Walking Dead trekking on.
Trudging on like the zombies themselves. It's like the show is pretty much embodied a zombie now. Just mindless, dragging its feet.
Yeah, it's still enjoyable. I still like it.
Yeah, I'm just poking fun.
But yeah, it is kind of getting to that point where you're leading to that big moment, and then when that big moment happens, I think they've kind of fallen into a trap of lead, big moment, so that people talk about it for a year, and then get to the next season.
Yeah. So we got some movie news. The new John Wick trailer got released this week. I don't know if you saw that. You definitely haven't seen John Wick 2. I don't know if you ever finished the first one.
I refuse to watch it because it makes you mad.
I know. The trailer for the third one's really good. Just lots of John Wick action. You get some new characters they show. It's just gonna be a good time.
More importantly, did you watch the Dora the Explorer live action trailer?
I refused. I saw that it dropped. I was like, I can't even click this. I did hear Danny Trejo's playing a monkey though. I don't know anything about Dora Explorer, but apparently there's a monkey and Danny Trejo is voicing it. So
yeah, that monkey better have machetes.
And what did I hear? Javier Bardem is voicing someone too. Like what?
I don't know. I know the Michael Pena is in it too.
That's crazy. Like it's live action, I guess.
Yes.
All I saw in the comment thread, I didn't even watch it, was like the Uncharted movie looks awesome.
Basically.
So I don't know if it's like Tomb Raider for kids or something like that.
That's basically what it looks like.
I guess that's fun. I mean, yeah, hey, it's going to be a great kids movie. More importantly, Fox/Disney deal is officially finalized. And amongst all that, there's been lots of speculation on who the Fantastic Four should be. I don't know if you saw any of those pictures, but immediately everybody's saying Michael Fassbender for Doctor Doom, which is like, I don't know, is he done playing Magneto? I guess we'll find out. He's
100% done playing.
Yeah, he's got to be done. But hey, go from one like, I mean, as far as characters go, Magneto and Doctor Doom, they're kind of similar in the fact that they're like, they kind of, I mean, Dr. Doom's obviously a villain, right? But he kind of toes the line sometimes for the greater good. Like he would help everyone, I guess.
The problem
Maybe.
the problem they're going to have with Doctor Doom is Doctor Doom is Darth Vader in terms of how you film him. So somebody else is going to film it and do the whole thing, but then you're going to have someone voice him over. Because you're not going to get Michael Fassbender to sit underneath that mask for an entire movie. Or
You
any
might.
major actor.
Yeah.
I maybe. I could be way off on this. I don't see it happening. So I see that as like they're going to get someone big and brooding and like intimidating to sit underneath the mask and actually act out everything. And then it's going to be a voiceover situation, just like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's stories coming out about people getting laid off. That's unfortunate. We're going to steer away from that because we're sorry that's happening, but we're going to geek out on the other side. That and X-Men are coming in. So that means after Dark Phoenix, presumably Marvel's going to, or Disney is going to reboot the X-Men cinematic universe and fold it into the MCU. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, this is great, exciting news. I think the coolest part for me was who they want, Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, and his wife in real life, cannot think of her name, as
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yes. Which I was like, I saw that, and I was like, sure, why not? I mean, I think this, John Krasinski's paid his dues, and I put him in a suit, give him a 10-movie deal, whatever. This guy, I mean, he's got such a fan base following him just from The Office alone.
Yeah.
Why not?
I wonder, I mean, so Fantastic Four have had a couple movies now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, we all know my opinion on this, but do you think they need to do an origin movie again, or could they just insert them into the Marvel Universe?
I think, I don't know if we need a full origin. Maybe just like, hey, they pop up in like a interdimensional travel device, kind of like I don't know, like Legends of Tomorrow style. They pop up and they're like, oh, what Earth is this? Or they pop up at the end of a Marvel movie and they're like, are you guys the Avengers? We need your help, or something like that. And then from that movie, they kind of tell them the origin. I think that's an okay way to do it. I don't think we need a whole hour and a half devoted to, hey, we're going to meet up. We're going to fly into space, get hit by sun rays, and now my buddy's a rock man,
See, here's my thought is, I don't know if anybody out there saw the really bad Fantastic Four movie that came out recently with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
So in that Fantastic Four, they got their powers from the negative zone.
Right.
So my feeling is you have them be some sort of scientist. Say, a flashback scene 5 years ago, maybe around the time of the first New York event, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they get sucked into the negative zone somehow, and that's how they get their powers. But then they're stuck in there for a while, and at the end of one of these movies, whether it's whatever Avengers or whatever movie, they come out of the negative zone and they have powers. But with that, you introduce the fact that they've met Annihilus, and he's a threat that's coming to this dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And that could set up the next event, because the last one being the Infinity Saga, you set up Annihilus as the next big bad in the big event.
And then you do like 12 more movies.
Exactly. And I think that would be really cool, mostly because I'm a huge nerd for Annihilation, and it's one of my favorite Marvel crossover events ever. But also because it sets up a big bad that's worth waiting 10 to 20 movies to get to, and I just knocked over a pot figure, everybody. So I think that's a cool way to go about that, personally.
And then 20 years from now, when you need to defeat Annihilus, played by Terry Crews, you're gonna you're gonna bring back old Josh Brolin as old Thanos because they have to travel. I don't know. They have to travel somewhere to get Thanos to help them out, and then alongside him, you get Nick Cage, Ghost Rider, but he's Frank Castle, Ghost Rider, and that's how you end the entire series. It was just a big battle, like the Donny Cates run. How's that?
I'm down.
Even though it's Nick Cage, I don't care.
I was going to say they have to go into the future.
Yeah,
they meet Thanos wins.
Yeah,
and they meet the Thanos. They bring him, so they bring Ghost Rider back, who then goes to an alternate dimension, creates Punisher Thanos.
Yep.
And then they got to bring back Punisher Thanos.
And then they just have an army of Thanos. Thanoses. I don't know. What's the plural of Thanos? Thanoses.
Thani?
Definitely Thani. Anyways, I think it's awesome. I don't know. I've been waiting for the Fantastic Four to come to the big screen, and I mean, they need to be done the right way. And I think Marvel's is going to kill it. Also, for a lot of people are saying for Ben Grimm, the guy who's playing Hellboy, who's from Stranger Things, the cop, you know.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, hey, he's already wearing one rubber suit and running around in a movie, so he's gonna have prior experience.
I mean, they CG'd the hell out of Hulk. I guess they could do Thanos thing.
Yeah. But I would just say, I mean, Disney's got more money than anyone, so just buy an actual rock suit for him to wear. They got time to build it. They've had quite a bit of time. Yeah, so we're not done with the movie news. Former Game of Thrones showrunners are planning a Star Wars trilogy rumored to be planned around the Old Republic.
Yes.
Oh, man. So that right there is that, like, we just talked about some fun movie news, but this is like, I'm ready. All I hear about the Old Republic, I mean, I played some of the games, but like the story is there, and it's so interesting, like the old ways of the Jedi, right? Now we get to finally see it on the big screen, maybe.
Yeah, there's so many cool things here. I'm a huge fan of the Knights of the Republic games, and you couldn't have picked two better people to do a medieval sci-fi movie.
Exactly, right? Yeah, I mean, they just did so well with Game of Thrones, and they're like, okay, well, what property can we move on to next? Star Wars. It doesn't get much bigger than that. And not only that, they're getting a trilogy. Like, come on.
Yeah. All I ask is that, listen, you have 3 movies, so you got to get to the point. You can't just lollygag around for 5 seasons like you did in Game of Thrones.
Okay. So, well, let's slow down here, okay? Game of Thrones is ending, all right? There's an ending to it. It hasn't been drawn out at all. Just because you won't watch it, all right, doesn't mean it's bad.
And listen, you don't need to kill someone every 2 seconds. It's fine.
There's like 40 characters. Yeah, they do. Come on.
People can.
I can't keep track. I'm just there for the sword fights and the dragons. Like, every time they kill a character, it makes everything easier for me because I'm like, I don't even know who the hell that was.
So they did it once in Game of Thrones. Are we going to get some sibling loving in this movie?
I mean, the past Star Wars Resume of the Past shows, who knows? I don't know.
Dragons with lightsabers, people.
This is the Middle Ages of Star Wars. I mean, they can do anything they want.
All joking aside, yeah, you're 100% right, and I can't wait for these movies.
They should just make it a TV show. Like, I feel like stories are told way better in 10 episodes than it could be in it. Anyways, I mean, more Star Wars, not going to complain about it. We're already getting like 2 Star Wars TV shows, I think, right? So, yeah. I mean, live action.
Oh yeah, I think we're going to 3.
Yeah, there's some cartoons there too. But anyways, that's exciting news. It's almost like Disney couldn't wait for these guys to get done with Game of Thrones. They're just like waiting with their checkbook.
So I'm very interested because we're allegedly going to get episode 9 this year.
Hopefully, I haven't heard or seen. Do you remember? This is what's concerning me because, like, do you remember when Force Awakens, like, when it began filming, everybody knew about it. There's pictures of set pieces. There's pictures of like everything. Like, oh, this tree was used on the set. Like, and now it's like, and even with Episode 8, they're showing a lot of stuff. But now Episode 9, it's like I haven't heard anything, and it's coming out in July, right? Or not? Not July. I'm sorry. Winter time.
So they're going back to the Christmas schedule. Which
Schedule, yeah.
I feel like they never should have strayed away from. I know their original plan was to have them come out in May.
Yeah.
And begin the summer season with it, but the Christmas schedule was so good for those first 3 movies.
Yep.
And I think a part of all this is that hype died down, and they were riding a wave of hype. And I get it. Star Wars came back after how many years?
Mm-hmm.
But hype died down. You pissed off half the fan base, and the other half of the fan base is right.
J.J. Abrams comes back, and he's like, son of a bitch, I gotta save this franchise again?
So
I just got them all back. Come on.
So, and you're following the second best Star Wars movie ever made, and yeah, there's a lot going against it, and I think they were keeping more of a tighter lid on things. I have seen some stuff sneak through, but it's never like huge news, so we don't talk about it much.
I mean, but look at being in J.J. Abrams' shoes again. It's like you just said it right there. Okay, the second best Star Wars movie ever made. There's a whole lot of people that don't agree with you. So it's like JJ's like, oh shit, like this half of the table, nobody likes this movie. This half of the table, it's the best movie. What do I do?
Yeah, so the last episode was very divisive. I admit that, and I joke about it being the second best. It's my second favorite. And I know that there's a giant swarm of people, usually about half of the fan base, that disagrees and think it's an atrocity and blah, 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 blah. But anyways, what people forget is that Force Awakens had a similar backlash. It just wasn't about the lore. It was about the fact that, oh, so they blew up another fucking Death Star? What the hell?
Yeah, I know.
So you're right. He's got to reunite the fan base, and that's a tough thing to do. At the same time, he's got to allegedly end the Skywalker saga, because allegedly this is the last one with the Skywalkers in it.
He's gonna build another Death Star. God damn it!
I don't believe this is the last one, by the way. And then you're being followed by this Old Republic alleged movie. Plus, Rian Johnson is still working on his own trilogy. And what is that going to be? So, so much Star Wars, and I love
it. Pretty soon the movies are going to be like the novels. There's just going to be so many. And it's like, oh, which one is this one in reference to now? Which is not bad. Yeah. Anyway,
anybody out there that tells me I'm going to be sick of it in a few years, I come back to me in 10 years, and I guarantee you I will still be excited for Star Wars movies.
I'm going to remind you in 10 years. All right, comic book news.
Comic book.
So, this is Marvel. This is pretty exciting news for X-Men fans. Marvel announced the return of Jonathan Hickman with a two X-Men event book named House of X and Power of X. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
I am not an X-Men guy, but I am a Jonathan Hickman guy. And I will read these because it's Jonathan Hickman. Hopefully this leads into him doing X-Men proper and doing a Jonathan Hickman-esque story, because Jonathan Hickman needs about 5 years and a bunch of money to finish his stories. And the only disappointment here is that when he left originally, the rumor kept being he's going to DC, he's going to DC, he's going to DC.
Legions of Superheroes.
And people wanted that. I would have preferred, personally, him to take on a JSA Earth 2 book.
Oh, yes.
And the fact that we won't get either of those, at least anytime soon, kind of sucks. And we're leading up to the kind of the rebirth of the JSA, so I was hoping that they were just stalling that even further for Doomsday Clock. But I'll take this. I love Hickman. I'm down.
It's only... are these ongoing books? Or are they're not single issues, are they?
They're 2 6-issue series.
Okay.
They're considered event books.
Okay. Yeah, so that's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of Hickman fans out there. This is even more exciting, I think. Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman's Spider-Man/Venom crossover, titled Absolute Carnage. Yeah. Take my money. Absolute bank account losing all its money.
Yeah. So the couple of things here. So this all comes out of, I believe it was C2E2 last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel had a huge presence. So the couple of things here, Stegman doing, I believe, his first big event book. So I'm hoping that puts Stegman on at least more of a household name in comics. But 2, this plus the Hickman announcement said that you had these 3 books plus War of the Realms are all going to lead to another giant event in December. So somebody at Marvel is listening to me because I love giant event books, and we're getting 5 at Marvel this year.
It's a lot of event books. See, that just scares me from not reading any Marvel stuff. I was just like, I can't even touch any of the Marvel books because it's like, oh, well, this one's tied to this event, this one's tied to this event. It's like, I don't know what the hell's happening. I will read the crossover with Donny Cates though. Marvel also announced another 6-issue series titled The History of Marvel Universe with Mark Waid and Javier Rodriguez. So this has a lot of the same feel as Multiversity, right? You pick a big name writer, Grant Morrison, someone that's written quite a few books for Marvel, and you give them the history of, you get everybody caught up on where the continuity is and where each universe lies.
I think this is a cleanup job.
Yeah.
So I think what this is they're going to take all of the Marvel history that spans 50, 60 years now and condense it and kind of try to make sense of it into the modern context. And who better than Mark Waid to take on that job?
Yeah, it's a good idea. This is pretty cool. Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross are creating a one-shot to follow up to Marvel's, which is their book back in was it 90s or early 2000s?
Yeah, 90s, because we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the book.
Yep. Yeah, which I never read. I should read because I love Alex Ross's art, but that's pretty cool. Alex Ross doing some stuff.
You've never read Marvels?
No, I have not. We talked about it. It keeps escaping me. I'm reading so many trades and stuff right now.
So they're re-releasing Marvels right now as Marvels Annotated. I didn't pick that up because I have the original Marvels.
Yep.
But I'm super excited for this because Marvels is one of those books. I always have this argument with people at the comic shop. I think this is one of those books that you give a new reader because it's awesome Alex art interior, great story, and it kind of jumps you into a universe of superheroes. And this is going to be the first time we get Alex Ross interiors since I can remember. So I'm really excited for it. Yeah.
And we know they're always working together on Astro City, so they have a pretty good working relationship. Yeah. We have some other news. Viz Media is going to start releasing original English language manga. It's pretty interesting. It's like if Japan was like, we're going to start releasing American comic books.
Which they've done.
Yeah.
But we're starting to see where Japanese culture has influenced the American culture a lot. Mm-hmm. And we actually are getting the first ever anime to be translated originally from English to Japanese and sent over to Japan.
Yep.
So we're starting to get that divide where they realize that like anybody can make a great manga or a great anime. So I'm excited to see if somebody's got a cool story and does something unique with it.
They did that really cool. It was a couple years ago. I actually own it. It's a bunch of American comic book artists got together and did one shots for Attack on Titan. They made like a collected edition.
Yes,
it was awesome. Like Scott Snyder, a bunch of DC writers like Gail Simone. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so you're starting to see more and more of that, and it's just a good idea. I mean, there's no reason that someone from another country can't make a comic book, even though it's a very American art form, and vice versa. There's no reason that anybody can't make a manga.
Yep.
It's just, I think it's good business because you spread out the ideas further and grow your audience.
For sure. Little cool piece of info. Scott Snyder and Francesco Francavilla are teasing a new project. I believe it's creator owned, correct?
It is.
Yeah. Not related to any of his other stuff.
I don't believe so. There was an image, and I don't recognize it.
Yeah.
They posted on Twitter. My two things here are just I'm down because I love that team up, and it's very interesting that Scott Snyder is doing a lot of creator-owned books right now.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him slowly make the transition out of DC. Maybe, I don't know. I'm wondering because he's only done just a select amount of DC. Yeah, and from what we've gotten from artists and writers on the show, everybody loves doing creator-owned.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. So with that segue, we could talk about Justice League number 20, written by Scott Snyder, that came out this week that we both read.
We definitely can.
This is exactly like we said about issue 19. This is exactly what I wanted out of a Justice League book. We get some conversations with the folks in the Sixth Dimension. We probably get the most easiest to follow explanation of what the hell's going on when they talk about the multiverse and how they're rebuilding the multiverse, which almost sounds like something's going to get rebooted, either added or subtracted. I think it's just awesome to see the Sixth Dimension heroes. I think the Superman suit and hair and everything it's like the older versions of everybody.
Yeah.
We find out Batman is Dick Grayson, and Batman's going to end up like sacrificing himself. Interesting though that Dick Grayson's suit is a little Earth 2-ish style with that like trench coat.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they did that on purpose or not too sure.
I don't know. That might have just been a callback.
Yeah.
It seems to me that, like I've said a few times, that they're setting up the reboot of the JSA here.
Mm-hmm.
We got Starman. Something's going on in Doomsday Clock involving the JSA, and now we're getting kind of a rebuilding the multiverse and the Earths that have been destroyed through the Source Wall and blah 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 blah. All shit I don't quite understand, but do understand. And
a lot of comic book science.
Yeah, and I feel like at some point we're gonna get the rebuild of the JSA in Earth 2.
The thing is, Hawkgirl and Martian Manhunter, at least in the Sixth Dimension, have a child together, and they're like in love. And they find out a secret. Their child actually tells them like the Sixth Dimension isn't what you think. I'm going to reveal the truth to you. And they're like, oh my God. And we don't really see what that is. All while Mixaplex is losing his shit in the Hall of Justice. He kind of like breaks free. And then Lex is going to try to capture him, I guess.
Yeah, because he says he wants an imp to use for himself.
So I think Lex Luthor with a dimension-altering imp is probably a terrible idea. It's probably the most dangerous weapon he's had. And then we get Superman is still trapped somewhere.
Yes.
And he's trying to get out, and he's struggling to get out, and he finally gets greeted by the sixth-dimensional Superman, and he doesn't look happy. So something's afoot.
Yeah. all in all, I'm just happy that we're back to, for the most part, a Justice League book that is fun and wacky and has the team doing something together.
Right, exactly. I absolutely love these last 2 issues, so I can't wait for more of that.
Yeah, I'm back on Justice League.
Yep. Venom number 12. Kind of like we kind of finish up the whole issue with Eddie Brock being trapped. They're trying to remove the symbiote from him. You read that?
Yeah, so symbiote does get removed. It saves Eddie Brock's son and brings him back to Eddie. And we end up finding out that, so we thought that Eddie was still in the symbiote, and he's not. He's been torn apart from it, and the symbiote has its identity back, and kind of walks away and says, like, you guys are better off without me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an interesting thing there with the symbiote doing what it wants to do on its own without Eddie.
Yeah, like walking around on its own is pretty interesting.
Yeah. And then this is going to lead into, I guess, Donny Cates is taking a few issues off during War of the Realms, and Cullen Bunn's jumping on Venom.
Oh, cool.
And I'll be interested to see, being a huge Marvel nerd, I'm excited for War of the Realms and to see what the Venom symbiote does during that time and how that affects the overall story that Donnie's trying to tell. So it was a good issue. Yeah,
kind of it gets Venom away from the Brock family, and now they got to figure out what the hell they're going to do.
Yep.
Batman 67, and I was trying to, after reading 67, I went to the internet to to see if everybody else is feeling my pain. We're still in the nightmare issues, I guess they're calling them. And this one is like an old school noir Batman, like 60s Batman, who is chasing this guy that's kind of dressed like Phantom Stranger. And he lands like... They land in a bar, like they fall through the roof in the bar. Do you remember like the Elmer Fudd crossover?
Yep.
The bartender is the pig guy. And I think it was like a reference to him. I don't know why that was put in here. And then like he follows this guy, he jumps off the side of the harbor, and like takes off the mask, and it's the Joker. And the Joker looks like Cesar Romero's Joker. And he's just like basically says like, oh, he killed this guy and I had to catch him, and like the reason he killed him was just to make a joke about it. And I was like, that was the issue. And I was like, Tom King's completely lost me. I don't know what's going on anymore. Apparently these are still the nightmare issues. I don't know. This issue was like, there's almost no writing in it for like, I don't know, I'm scrolling through right now. There's like 18 pages with no dialogue at all. It's just like a chase scene between Batman and this guy in a trench coat who ends up being the Joker, which is like, if that's not filler, I honestly don't know what is, but it's Batman, so I'm going to keep reading. There was a time when I was preaching to the heavens about Tom King's Batman.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are down on this story arc.
Yeah. And it's Nightmares Part 5. It's like, why are we still here?
So you got one more issue.
Yeah, hopefully. And then, unless they're like, oh, we made it a 12-part series, I don't know. Hopefully one more will tell us why the hell I'm stuck in these nightmares. We can get back to like a real story. Anyways, that was it for this week.
It was Kite Man all along.
Yeah, I hope so. I have to be rewarded for reading through this somehow. I actually bought volumes 2, 3, and 4, physical copies of Ed Brubaker's oh man, the Killing one. What's it called? Killer Be Killed. Yeah, that one. Killer Be Killed. That's the Killing one. I got to Newberry Comics, which is a comic books chain store of greater Massachusetts area, greater Boston area, and they had a sale going on 2 for 3 trades, so you got a free trade. So I bought the 2, 3, and 4 that I needed. Also, it was Hellboy day. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So I got some tattoos and a free Hellboy book. That was pretty cool. Some Hellboy tattoos. Gonna put them on at Free Comic Day. Show them off.
You should have some face Hellboy tattoos.
Yeah, I'll pull one on my face. I don't care. Anyways, what did you read?
So I read Transformers #1. So they rebooted Transformers.
Oh.
And it's taking place on Cybertron, and it's before the war. So I really actually enjoyed this issue because we get to see the birth of a new Transformer. Mind you, I'm not a big Transformer fan, so it might be a big deal who this character is, but I have no clue who he is.
And what's the name?
I forget.
Oh, okay.
But so he's being shown across Cybertron by Bumblebee, and then that's the B story, and then the A story is all about, I forget what they call him, but the person who becomes Optimus Prime and Megatron. They're both senators, and they're having a talk because there's some sort of riot going on, and Megatron's kind of been pushing it along and encouraging it, and Optimus wants to bring everything to go peacefully. It's super interesting for someone like me who likes to read politics and world building. I haven't seen what like actual Transformer fans like, but I enjoyed it. I think it was a cool first issue. And no humans, just Transformers. No goddamn humans.
Wait, you don't want to see like any emotional connection between two humans during your Transformers book? I don't understand why.
No. Get Shia LaBeouf out of my goddamn Transformers. Like, just show me Transformers. That's all I want.
Yeah. That's cool that you liked it.
I read Marvel's Spider-Man City at War, which was based on the video game. I thought it was a continuation of the story. I was way off. It's just a retelling of the video game. So if you've played the video game, don't bother with this book.
What platform was that? Was that the GameCube one?
No, this is the most recent one on PS4.
Oh, okay. So it's the same story?
Yeah, they're just retelling that story. That's all it was. I got halfway through the book and I was like, why is Otto not Dr. Octopus? And I realized that I was just retelling the story. A good Spider-Man book I read was Spider-Man Life Story by Chip Zdarsky. And this is the retelling of Spider-Man's life as if it happened in real time. And it starts in the 60s. So we're in the middle of Vietnam era, and Spider-Man's Peter's having some conflict about whether he should go over and fight and help the troops and everything. And it was a really cool dive into that thought process of like, I have, with great power comes great responsibility. So does that mean I go help these people? And, the Marvel Universe is just being birthed. So we get some of the back of what's going on there and what Peter's going through, his relationships. But the part that got me the most, I know everyone's going to be shocked by this, but he has a moment with Captain America. And they talk about it, and Cap gives him the advice of like, you got to do what you got to do, and I got to do what I got to do. That doesn't mean that you have to go over there, but you do what you think is right. And if that means helping people here, as long as you're helping people, that's all that matters. And Cap goes over to Vietnam. Well, we find out that Cap goes over to Vietnam and kind of realizes that the U.S. is doing some shitty things in Vietnam, and defects and starts protecting the Vietnamese people. I really want to see how that story plays out more than anything, but it's a really, really good issue.
It's pretty
Spider-Man
cool.
Life Story, pick it up. It's really a lot of fun, and deep. And then what was the other book? Oh yeah, Wolverine Infinity Watch. If you're not an Infinity fan, don't read this book. It's full of super nerdy Infinity War stuff.
What if you're a Wolverine fan?
No. This is Wolverine and Loki trying to find the different stones that have become sentient and form themselves into people. And they're going after the time stone.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a time bat is, don't read this book.
What is that? What is a time bat?
So, all right. So there's these gems.
Explain it, please.
There's these gems that are shards of the time stream, and they're formed into a bat. So it's like a baseball bat with these little gems in it. So he can stop people from using time-based abilities.
He hits him with a bat?
So, no, he just got to hold it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's all happening. I love it, but it's not for everybody. I'm just throwing it out there. Avengers No Road Home number 6. Basically, what you gotta know is Conan's coming to the Marvel Universe. Avengers number 17. Dracula gets one over on the Russians. He has a new Transylvania now and a new breed of vampires. Book is awesome.
That's great.
Avengers and Blade versus Dracula. That's awesome. And then Guardians of the Galaxy number 3.
Oh, I had that. Did I read it? You talk about it. I think I did read it.
Basically, we find out where people stand and why they want to go after Gamora and what's going on with the resurrection of Thanos. And Peter, as he's drinking himself to death, gets confronted by Groot, and Groot kind of takes over the ship.
They agree to help him out, though, is a pretty big deal, because we talked about, like, they're going to have to rally together, and it looks like their pity for him. They're like, okay, we're gonna go do this.
Yeah. And we find out where Gamora has gone, and she's going after Rocket, apparently.
And she's got a really big gun, so she's gonna probably kill him, I would assume.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see where that goes.
Yeah.
But some really good comics this week, actually. I really enjoyed most of the stuff I had.
Good stuff.
Speaking of good stuff, Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
Forge Stricker on the Twitters. Speaking of more good stuff, where can they find you and or the show?
Well, they can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, or you can find the show at FCN_official. And of course, FortressComicNews.com, where everything we do is right there on that handy dandy website. I forgot to mention it earlier, but remember, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can go there and get the Bat Friends episode early, or click our Amazon banner to buy stuff. So everybody watching this, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, do all that stuff. And if you are listening to our sultry voices, to make sure you give us a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever podcatcher, unless it's Stitcher, that you listen to it on.
I think that's it.
That's all.
Until next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.